though, that this movie was supposed to be released over a year ago. I think we were just like 1 week away in March last year from this movie actually releasing before the US shut down. Nevertheless, the moment we've all been waiting for has finally arrived. Today I'm going to be talking about the John Krasinski directed film, A Quiet Place Part 2. As you can tell from the title, A Quiet Place Part 2 is the sequel to the hit horror film of 2018, A Quiet Place. This one brings back the surviving family members we all know and love from the first film and throws them way outside their comfort zone, even more than the last film, if you can believe that. After discovering the aliens' weakness in the first film, Reagan's out here now trying to actually do something with this newfound information. Mom wants to just play it safe. She wants to meet up with surviving communities, group together, and honestly, just doesn't want any confrontation. I mean, she has a baby, I get it. But Reagan doesn't want that life at all. She wants to go out there and do things. If there's anything she's inherited from her father, it's his bravery and determination. Not soon after, the family runs into newcomer Cillian Murphy's character, and from here, the movie really gets going. I genuinely love this movie. Everything I enjoyed about the first film, they found ways to improve on in this one. Was the setting in the last film a desolate, post-apocalyptic type world? Sure, but in this one, they really get into how horrific this alien invasion was. You see decaying bodies, hundreds of empty cars, and one of the coolest shots in the film for me has to be just a slow pan of an abandoned train platform. And you just see people's shoes, purses, cell phones. It really makes you feel uneasy because you're picturing in your mind these people getting slaughtered, but without seeing it on screen. Speaking of uneasy, I was really digging the soundtrack of this film. It's like this subtle piano music that's playing in the background. It's the same composer as the first film, so that's obvious why I loved it. It's chilling, and it really supplements the tone this movie's going for. The continuity is on point because they filmed it so soon after the success of the first one. All the child actors look the same age, which is great, but y'all know, with movies like Harry Potter, by the time like the third movie came out, Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and all the other actors were probably about 3 years older than the characters they were supposed to be portraying. But luckily with this film, they don't have that problem. Regardless, another little detail I noticed continuity-wise, you know how Emily Blunt's character stepped on that nail in the previous film? Ugh. I know, I cringed at it too. And in this movie, I noticed that Emily Blunt's character, obviously she still has her foot wrapped up, she even has like a little slight limp. It's very subtle. But the wicked bad ADHD that I have noticed that right away, and I'm really happy that they continued the little plot points from the previous film as well. Alright, now I just gotta focus on the cast. Emily Blunt's character was a drastic improvement over the previous film for me. In the last movie, she was careless, she was having a baby in a world where you need to be quiet. The scene where she's dragging that sack up the stairs and it gets stuck on the nail, like you really wouldn't look down to see what it got snagged on. Like, I felt like she was so ridiculously dumb in the last movie. A walking horror cliche for sure. But this time, she's doing a lot of things in a more smart way. Like, if she needs to go out and get supplies, she leaves her kids behind, leaves them in a safe space. She also does the old water trick where if the creatures hear something else, like the ambient sound of water, it's a little bit more hard to focus on the human's footsteps and stuff like that. So there's scenes where Emily Blunt is around the creature and she definitely utilizes that. I mean, John Krasinski in the last film was the one that explained how that works, so it makes sense. I don't know, it doesn't seem like much, but it was a subtle change for the character, enough for me to actually care about her now. The son Marcus, he didn't really have too many eventful things to do. Not that he needed to, but the only thing I can think of is he's always there looking out for his siblings in the film, so yeah, there's that. But Millicent Simmons as Reagan, goddamn, what an amazing actress. She is a fucking scene stealer for sure. When her character is willing to go out on her own just to follow in her father's footsteps and put an end to all this, potentially, how can you not like someone with those aspirations? And just like these moments in the first film with Reagan, the scenes that depict her hearing just ambient white noise, it's just so tense and really powerful. Not to mention, if you make me feel for your character without talking a lot throughout the entire film, then you've won me over. She's definitely up there with the other young female badasses like Sophia Lillis, Daphne Keane. Lastly, for the cast at least, let's talk about Cillian Murphy. Without going into too much detail, this dude has a lot of character growth in this movie, and there's even times in this film where he gives me a Joel from Last of Us kind of vibe. He's a great addition to the franchise, and he definitely fills that John Krasinski void. There's no negatives I really had with this film either. I mean, one could argue a year and a half and some change after the alien invasion that, yeah, all these batteries that you're using for your electronic devices and flashlights and radios most likely wouldn't work, but I'm definitely looking into it too far. Even though I enjoyed the last film, this one just stepped it up in every aspect for me. Better horror, intense moments, action, CGI, but I mean, I guess that would make sense because the budget is just about triple what it was in the first movie. One last thing I wanted to point out because of the pandemic. A lot of companies, sponsorships, advertisers want the crews of these films to go back and edit in newer products. Like if a Samsung S9 Plus was in the film, they want someone to CGI in an S21. I mean, I do get that because you can have other things like background billboards also be outdated. Putting newer advertisements within the films definitely makes more sense to just keep it relevant. Why I'm telling you guys this is, it's because I did see a little glimpse of that in this film. There's a scene where Reagan is looking at a map and it's referencing the year 2021, this year. Well, the movie was supposed to come out last year, so that means they had to go back and spend money to CGI out 2020 on that map and put 2021, or they had to reshoot it physically, which I doubt they did. Now that I think about it, I would love to see a documentary about how this pandemic affected film productions. I mean, that would be cool just to learn little details here or there. So final thoughts on this one. I think if you love the first film, you're really going to enjoy this one. Same director, same cast, pretty much everyone that worked on the first film is on this project too. And after seeing this, I can tell they have a solid plan for a trilogy, guys. You get some more world building, some new information about the creatures, and you even get a really cool flashback sequence that shows the early days of this crazy invasion. Bigger is definitely better in this case, and I can't wait to jump back into this franchise. A Quiet Place Part 2 gets a 9 out of 10.